Normally when you watch action camera marketing, it's BMX or high action sports. But honestly, a lot of us just kind of live normal lives and that's not very useful. Well, maybe this camera is the solution. This is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. And I think that this could potentially be a more everyday camera with some of its key features that we'll talk about in this video. Let's start with one of the major upgrades with this action camera in particular, and that's actually the lens. It has a Leica lens. Yes, that Leica. And what's really great about this is that it's going to give you just better optics on your action camera. Additionally, Leica and Insta360 teamed up to give you Leica color profiles in this camera. So you have both the neutral picture profile or the natural picture profile and vivid as well for the Leica colors. And that's gonna give you just a little bit more artistic options if you don't wanna film in log. If you do want to film in log, you can totally do that, and that's going to be really useful for people using professional cameras who want to match an action camera to whatever cameras they're using. So that's really great that it's able to shoot in log, but if you're just kind of filming yourself, I would recommend one of the Leica picture profiles. Now, one of the more interesting things about the Ace Pro 2 is that it is an 8K sensor. So you can actually record in 8K if you want to, but that's not specifically what I would recommend with this camera. It's actually pretty cool, and I'll demonstrate it for you guys right here. So as you can see, we're at the Parthenon here in Middle Tennessee, and we're miles away from it, even in linear mode, but because it's 8K, you can actually double tap on the sensor and get much, much closer. But the kicker is you're still recording in 4K because you had that 8K sensor. So you're able to punch in 2X. And this is something that I've just never seen on an action camera like this, and it's usually one of the more annoying things about an action camera. Everything's just so wide. You're so far away from everything. So being able to punch in the camera and retain a 4K image is a huge leg up. And honestly, to keep ranting on that point for one reason, that's one of the things about the iPhone that we always love is that you have the multiple different lenses. So you're not always so far away from things. You can punch in and get different angles. So again, having that double tap zoom on the Ace Pro 2 is just so useful. I think I can't really state it enough. Now, I am talking about how the Ace Pro 2 is useful in more ways than just as an action camera, but it is an action camera still, so you're able to record in 4K at 120 frames per second. So if you are doing something, let's say you are actually a BMX biker, or maybe you're just running with your dog like I am in this footage right here, 4K 120 is still a great option for any of those high action scenes. Now, one important thing about a camera is that it's going to be able to last throughout the day. And the Ace Pro 2 actually claims to have a 3-hour battery. Now, I haven't tested it fully, if I'm being completely honest. I haven't had it long enough to do a lot of tests, but it is a very large battery in the Ace Pro 2. So I do tend to believe that their advertisement is true. It probably will give you right around 3 hours of battery life of usage. And if you have a spare battery, you're good to go with this thing. So I think battery life won't be an issue. Now, when it comes to the mounting options for the Ace Pro 2, it's actually really great. They have a magnetic clip mount, which is, I think, become basically the standard for action cameras these days. But I do really like it because it's so quick. You just pinch, pull off, then just push it on and you're good to go. But really one of the more interesting features about the Ace Pro 2 that truly does make it unique and useful for everyday users is that flip screen. I mean, really, if you are vlogging or filming any sort of documentation of whatever you're doing, having a flip screen is incredibly useful. A lot of action cameras have a screen on the front, which is great, but there is something about having the entire full screen right here on display. And plus, if you guys can see, it's actually like really robust. It does not feel flimsy at all, which would be one of my main concerns, but they did a really good job with this hinge, making sure that it's not going to break. I will say that one of the things about the screen though, if I'm giving a little critique, is that I think it's a little bit low resolution. But that being said, again, having the larger preview screen is really nice. So low resolution screen, but a large preview, it's a nice compromise. So if you guys can see here on this camera, that microphone looks pretty funny even, I would say. But the reason why it looks like that is because they supposedly have a better built-in microphone on this. If that's true, that's gonna be a huge benefit to this camera over other action cameras. So I went ahead and ran a few different tests to see how the microphone holds up on the internal built-in mic. So this is a mic test with the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. There is no lavalier, no shotgun mic. This is just the raw audio on the Ace Pro 2. I am outside. It's actually raining a little bit, and there's definitely some noise because I'm not exactly in a quiet area, so I'm wondering how well it isolates my voice compared to the background. Now, when it comes to action cameras, I don't typically do much photography, but this thing is completely capable of it. So it can shoot 50 megapixel photos as well as 12.5 megapixel photos. I think that this is mainly going to be useful for wide landscape photography or maybe even underwater photography because it is waterproof. But that being said, I probably wouldn't shoot portraiture on this thing, but it's really nice that you have these options in it. The thing with cameras like this is that it's going to be competing with other compact pocket cameras, and the main one that it's going to be competing with is your iPhone. So I went ahead and recorded a clip with both the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 as well as the iPhone 16 Pro so that you guys can see how does it compare to basically the standard of what everyone has in their pocket. Here's a low light test. We're in the pure video mode. This is also the raw audio. We are in a parking lot, so there are lights around me, but it's nighttime straight up, so it's pretty dark. What do you think, Theo? Huh? 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 You know you're hooked to the car. You can't, did you get stuck? So now I'm still in the pure video mode, but I switched to the portrait instead of the Leica color. In the screen, it looks a lot better. Still getting a bit of flaring. And if I was vlogging, I feel like this would work. And just to be extra thorough, I thought I'd go ahead and film it against the GoPro Hero 13 in a very low light scene, just so that you all can judge for yourself which camera has better low light capabilities. So I really feel like the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is just bringing something different to the table. I actually didn't even plan that pun. That's in my script. How we doing? Yeah, I really like that they're doing these more innovative features like that flip screen, like that 8K sensor, which allows me to punch in 4K and still retain a 4K image. It's things like that that I feel like really add up to make something unique. I feel like whether you're a vlogger, travel influencer, or maybe you just want to capture really high quality video, but you don't want to lug around a ton of camera gear like I'm doing right here, I feel like the Ace Pro 2 could be a really great option. By the way, if you want to learn more about the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, definitely check out my link in the description to learn more. Let me know what you all feel about the Ace Pro 2. Does it live up to y'all's standards for an action camera or even beyond an action camera? In my opinion, I really do think that they are doing things to stand out, and I really appreciate that. I hope that you all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
And if you want to color grade your pictures, use my presets below.
For $40.